Hey everyone, welcome back to the 16th episode of Critic Cafe. I'm joined by Kaleo, all the way from Hawaii, which is pretty cool. Do you want to give us a little bit of background about yourself and your creative process, and like what you do creatively?
Yeah, sure. So hi everybody, I'm Kaleo, all the way from the Big Island or Hawaii Island, as you would say, from a little town called or city actually, Hilo. And my creative background. So I actually have a lot of creative outlets, but primarily I would say my creative outlet is photography. Been doing it for, well, I don't even know. I started off really small. For an example, just started shooting around with a basic camera and just took really like more of a heartfelt interest in photography and just kind of went from there. Still learning, lots of learning to do for sure. Still in the process of figuring things out. But I guess since then and throughout my journey of just kind of taking the interest of photography, kind of turned it into a small little side hustle, I guess you could say. I still consider it more of a hobby, really, over just a side hustle. But people who know that I've done, that people who know that I do photography will often reach out to me and say, "Hey, can you do my senior portrait?" Or "Hey, can you do some family Christmas photos? We really like your work," etc., etc. So that's kind of when I kind of take the turn as far as like considering it more of a side hustle, but I still consider it as like a more of a hobby, more of a place where I could just like be creative, more of a just an outlet. I guess you could even call it therapeutic on times when it's like crazy, especially these times in the
Right. Yeah.
pandemic that we're, been facing for the past several months now. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now as far as my creative background. I also like to do DIY woodwork, so that's the other thing I like to
I didn't
build
know
stuff.
that. Yeah, that's a new
Yeah.
one. Huh.
I used to do construction with my uncle. So we did everything from forming to cement to framing houses to roofing to finish work to picking up all the trash around around the house,
Yeah.
And I worked with him for a good 9 years. And after that 9 years, I kind of just branched off and kind of seeked out to do something different. But learning that work trade of learning how to build things, measuring, cutting, I guess I never really lost it. So I kind of actually used that to my advantage and just would build like little, woodwork things. Don't ask me to build your house because it will probably fall apart, but I
Maybe a
can build
miniature house
yeah, yeah, maybe a shack. No, maybe not even that. I don't even know. But
or a dog house for.
yeah, dog. Yes, a dog house. Yeah, yeah. We'll keep it to that minimum. But I built certain furnitures even for my home that I was living in, rental home. I built like a kitchen island, several bed frames for my beds. Um, what else I built? Coffee tables, shelves, and so that was just like another, also I guess you could say another creative outlet for me too. And then there's also drawing, painting. I like doing that. I haven't done it often, but every now and then I feel like when I feel like kind of taking that creative avenue, I kind of like bust up my paints. I'll get my brushes, and then just
Yeah.
start painting on a canvas and whatever spills on that spills on that. So yeah, I have several creative outlets that I like
Wait,
to.
dude. Last week I remember you posted like you were singing too. Like you have all these different things.
Yes, and that
I was like,
too.
well, we can actually sing too.
Okay, wait, now let's not get too far because I'm not like the best singer in the world. I wouldn't say like, man, I gotta be on The Voice or something because nah, that ain't gonna happen. But singing has also been part of uh, my culture too. I guess here in Hawaii, my family grew up around music too. So whether it's someone playing a guitar or ukulele um, or just getting together and just doing things like even a cappella style. So singing has always been part of actually my life. I want to say from when I was maybe even from 3 years old till now. So love singing. That's another outlet for me too. A lot of people who ask actually is like, what do you do to like, you know, um, to like decompress, or and sometimes I'll just say, I just get in my car and I just do like some YouTube karaoke, and I would just drive around and just start singing. Sometimes
Nice.
music and singing kind of helps me also to like collect myself. But yeah, so singing has been another part of my life here in Hawaii. So yeah. And matter of fact,
That's cool.
actually,
Like you have just so many different things, like photography, like woodworking, drawing, singing, like it's cool how like diverse creatively that you are.
yes, and a lot of people remind me, and and sometimes though having all these things, I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but um, I guess it in a way it can be good and bad. The good side about it is just like I can run to these different avenues of creativity. Whenever I feel like it, I guess it just depends on my mood and maybe on the
Right.
vibe. If there's something that if I am like dealing with or going through or whatever, I realize now that I've always kind of turned to the whether it's like I'm gonna go take some photos, just to clear my mind, whether it's
Right.
a nature or calling up a friend like, hey, like, are you available today? Like, do you want to just like go and like do a photo shoot around town or something just to like for fun? And most of the time, I want to say about 99% people are always down to do a photo shoot, or
Sure.
well, at least as far as people that I that I call that I call on, they're always like, yes, I'm down, let's go. That sounds like so much fun. Yeah, let's go. It's like, okay, shoot, let's go. Or then again, like, just falling back down to like whether it's painting or singing. Um, I just recently even got an iPad Pro, so I've been also like, working on some stuff on there with Procreate.
Oh, I
So,
just got that too, like last month, I think.
oh,
So
okay. Yeah. You like
yeah,
it?
yeah, I still gotta learn all bunch of things,
Yeah,
and
same,
it's gonna take time for sure. But yeah, pretty
same,
excited.
same. I've just been binging on like YouTube videos.
Ross
Um,
draws, dude.
yes, yes. So yeah, and then I guess like sometimes I don't know which one to do. I'll start on
I
something
feel
and
that
then
all
like,
the
this
time.
wasn't it. Yeah, yeah. So I was like, this is not the way. I'm not. No, no, no. It's putting more stress on me. Let me try something else. Even though I'm passionate about it, it can burn me out too sometimes. So it's just like I gotta just sit back, pull back, reset, regenerate, and then I can kind of do it again. So
Right.
if that makes
It,
sense.
mhm. I feel like there might be even people like listening too, like that have kind of a similar thing to us, where we have like so many different creative outlets, and things that we work on. And I guess what you kind of just cover this, but like just how do you like balance it? And, like you mentioned that even taking a step back sometimes, and from like
Yeah.
creative stuff in general.
Yes.
So like, do you have like what's an example of like having difficulty like balancing all these different projects or like different creative ventures, I guess?
Yeah. So like, I guess just finding the balance, with both like working, or because I work a full time job and I'm also doing other, I'm also a part of other things, whether it's like events that usually happen in our community. I'm pretty involved in like our church here too, and we're all about the community as well. So we're always constantly doing stuff. Sometimes my time goes into even all these things, and sometimes I feel like every day out of the week is like I have something like lined up. And it's fine because it's like, I don't mind because I have the choice whether to say yes or no,
Right.
but finding the balance really is actually, it's just managing your time over. I just, you gotta find that time for yourself, I guess. Like, you can be passionate about all these things, but then, in order for you to continue, doing what you want to do, giving as you would give, whether it's, just people that you're in contact with, whether it's like giving back to your community, like you really got to find that time to really like sit back and really regenerate and refresh and refill yourself. Like I always kind of fall back to this, metaphor or illustration about, we all have like a cup, you know what I mean? And it's either our cup is going to be overflowing or it's going to be like dry, it's going to be empty. So it's like we got to find that place where keep your cup full, or just finding the time. And even sometimes that one thing can just be like just not doing anything, just like sit back and just chill. So
Just to like replenish that cup.
yeah, You gotta.
especially in like times like these. Like the world's pretty crazy right now, and
Yeah.
I don't know how it is over there, but like we're starting to get like a lot more cases here in California. So yeah, I really agree with what you said about like taking time to like replenish that cup. Like replenish like your energy going into to like really get things done. I think also going back to like you mentioned the burnout earlier,
Mhm.
and I think it's also important to like if you end up reaching that point like as a creator, like for anyone listening right now, I think taking a step back, to like replenish your energy, get some rest, take a step back for a moment, instead of just trying to push through everything. Like, of course, it's good to like push your limits, but also know when it's time to like step back. Would you agree with that, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
I fully agree with that for sure. Um, and maybe for some people who even have a hard time doing that, I don't know if like people who are maybe might be more of a visual person, like I would even say like create like a schedule, create a calendar or create a list so that, something that you can follow. So then that way, for a fact, like, okay, on this day or at this time, like this is me time. Like I'm going to have to be able to like, whether it's just for 15 minutes or a whole hour or a whole day, matter of fact, I don't know, you got to do whatever you got to do. Like, yeah, you definitely got to do it because it's important. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
we're only human. We only can like do and give so much. Um, and I know there are some people out there, like when you're passionate about something, you're gonna go, 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 and you're gonna keep on doing, 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 doing. And some people actually really have that drive, and that's
Right.
great. But maybe for people who don't have that drive and they just feel like, it becomes very overwhelming. And then,
Hmm.
sometimes then you lose that passion sometimes, and sometimes it can just become a whole block too, for somebody who might be into doing something creative like every day. Sometimes there might be a cap on there where you won't feel like doing anything for maybe like a whole week or maybe even a whole month.
Hmm.
Sometimes you burn out to that point. So, and I've experienced that myself. So like to the point where like I had put my camera down for like maybe like a month, maybe even a month and a half. I just didn't pick it up, even though I knew that I was passionate about it. But I think it's because I was just doing and doing and going and going. Then I just kind of like left it to the side. Um, but then I found, the inspiration and passion again. And I think it's okay. I want to say that it's not a bad thing, like it happens. Um, but I think just for like physical, emotional, even your mental health too. I think, and maybe if this is a thing, it's going to be a thing today. Creative health. I think it's important. Yeah, it's definitely important to find that time. Do what you got to do. So I feel like that's something that I've been learning uh, a lot of lately, even in the past. So like especially during this like holiday seasons, like a lot of people will inquire, like, hey, you're doing family holiday photos. You really want to like do Christmas cards or New Year cards or whatnot. And as good as it sounds, like to have people like inquiring whatever, I have to make sure like I manage my time and how I schedule them, or even if I have to turn them down, because of time.
I guess that's also it's interesting because what are your thoughts on like when you're scheduling when you're booking people for like shoots and stuff? Like I want to make sure you put yourself first. Like as far as like scheduling wise, because I remember back when I was first starting, I used to try accommodate the client, as much as possible. Like if they couldn't make it, if they like missed the day, I'll be like, okay, it's okay, we can like reschedule. But then I started putting like myself forward, at the forefront. I mean, in terms of like, oh, I blocked out this for my time. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
kind of just like, do you have any similar experiences to that?
Um, so being the person that I am, if the day of the photo shoot, like say if like it rains or whatever, because I don't have a studio, right? So everything I do is outdoors,
Hmm.
and a lot of people would think, yeah, in Hawaii the weather is always beautiful, but it's usually, I mean, sometimes it's not always sunny. We get a lot of rain here too, and sometimes on days where I'm scheduled to do a shoot and it's pouring rain, um, I will sacrifice days that I had planned, whether to like have a day to myself or whatever, in replacement of allowing them to do their photo shoot. That's just the person I am, because then I just feel bad because it's not their fault. That the
Yeah.
weather couldn't. If by all possible, if there's an alternative where I can find a place where they're okay with like doing something, whether it's indoors or like underneath some kind of covering, then we'll try to shoot for that. But at most times, like personally, I feel like sometimes shoots like that don't really come out as satisfying as far as like
Right. Yeah.
color and lighting and all these things, and lighting is a huge thing that I depend on. So I will reschedule with them, and I will try my best to like give them another day. Yeah, and even if it's on a day where like I had planned to do other things, I will definitely do that. I think I'm just the type of person where I am like self-sacrificial, I guess. Like I will give up my time, to make sure that they're
Yeah.
happy. That's my main priority. Is like I wanna be able to make sure like the people that I am working with, that that they are happy and they're satisfied with what they get. So,
True. Yeah.
so even like sometimes if I say, oh, my photo shoots are for an hour, next thing you know, like 2 hours goes by, but it's just like that's just how I am. Like
Right.
I will go until I know that they are satisfied with what they see. um, and that's just my heart for them, I guess, or my passion, I guess, attached to photography.
I like that characteristic that you have, like selflessness, to putting like your clients at the forefront. And yeah, I agree too. Like that's what I would do in like that case, like a rainy day. Like yeah, let's just like reschedule.
Yeah.
Just give you some context, I just remember this one person wanted to reschedule 3 different times. They didn't really provide a reason for it either. So then that was kind of like the context, like surrounding that question. That's why.
Okay. Uh, wow.
Yeah, that's why. By the time it got to the fourth time, I'm like, no, sorry. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and I think that's wisdom. Also, I think it's also good to have wisdom. I mean, you don't want to offend. I try my best to communicate kindly.
yeah,
I try to let them know, like, so if they try to reschedule me, like, okay, like 3, 4 times, maybe 5, I'll be like, hey, you know what? Listen up. I am more than willing to like help, do these photos for you. But how about you let me know when you actually have a solid time and day where you're not
hmm
constantly canceling. Like, I don't know what your reasons are, but if you can, by all means, just help me out, like just come to me when you know for a fact that you won't be canceling on me, or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the words I would use, but I'm sure if I had more thought in processing something, even if it's like writing a letter or something, just to help
like
them
an email,
understand.
emailing the
Yeah,
clients.
get a more professional level, because then you
hmm
don't want to also ruin your reputation either, because they could go out and turn things around and just be like, oh my gosh, this guy, like, we're supposed to do photography or photo shoot with him, and he totally turned us down. I mean, people are like that.
Yeah,
But I think just to keep things professional and to cover your reputation, like, or for me, I would try to like think of something where it would just come out more kindly professional.
yeah, just being kind about it, but still being honest. Like, hey, this can't. Oh, kind but assertive. That's what I was trying to say.
There you go. Yes, yes, I hear you. Yes, kind but assertive. Because again, I get it too. Like, if it's your business, that's your time too that they're wasting,
hmm
because you could have replaced, no, not replaced, or have somebody else lined up, or you could have done something else, to fill that time slot. So that, yeah, definitely kind and assertive. Yes, I like that.
I like how we're kind of coming up with like different terms for things. Like you said, like creative energy. I think earlier, right?
Creativeness, man, it's the creative outlet.
See, is there anything in particular like that you got on your mind, like creative wise? Any new projects coming up, or?
I kind of wanted to get more experience in nighttime photography by using like, window lights, street lights. I know Christmas time is coming up, so that means more lights
Yeah,
around the
it's
town.
gonna be a good time for that. Yeah.
Definitely. So I kind of want to like, do more of those photos. But another thing too in Hilo, I mean, our city isn't that big, so a lot of the places that would be good for that type of photography would just be, the same old places. So it's not like I don't really have an option to just be like, oh, let's go to this part of the city to do, night photography, or it's usually will always end up being the same place. And for me, I like to try different areas, or I like to get or capture different, whether it's like different background structures or whatnot. It's definitely inspiring me to be like, oh, I want to give that a try. Just to see like what I can come up with. With using a black light and I guess that neon paints or whatever you call them. I'm not
Have
sure
you
what to
seen
call it.
those light stick kind of things? You can like put it in a circle and it makes that cool like effect if you have like a low shutter speed.
Definitely, that's intense. I feel like I'm not even on that level to do that. But that's also inspiring to me because that makes me want to like learn like how like okay how do we get that? Like I would love to do a photo shoot like that. I have other photographer friends here too that I know that I could collab with. We've done that in the past, where we just collabed with like whether it's just one model or two models, or we'll bring a friend, they'll bring a friend, and then we'll just kind of shoot and see like our editing styles and compare them and stuff like that. But I definitely would love to do that whole. They call it light sticks. Is that what it is that they use?
Or light wand? I don't even
Or
know.
light?
I think so.
Okay. But yeah, definitely. So I guess overall, I do want to get more creative as far as using more lighting other than just natural lighting, but like artificial lighting. With the lights, Christmas lights, the light wand, stuff like that for sure. I definitely want to try that out. When? I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but definitely want to make that happen for sure. That's a good one.
Okay. Well, I guess do you have any like last minute tips or last final thoughts that you wanted to offer anyone listening right now, or in terms of pursuing their own like creative passion and like working towards it, or maybe even like maintaining that balance that we were talking about earlier?
I think just leaving it as far as with just if anybody is just struggling with time and they just feel pressured out, or they're coming to a place where they're burning out with all the with what they're passionate with, is just pull back, like make some time for yourself to make sure you regenerate and recover. Again, because again, sometimes be passionate about the stuff that you like to do can also become not a burden, but it will just make it feel like you're just doing to doing. You know what I mean? That passion kind of level or fuel runs like really really short. So just time, I guess. I can leave anything with anyone today. Is just make time for yourself. Like you need to to continue that passion that you have for any creative avenue and whatever they're doing. So just make sure they keep the cup full. Don't let it run empty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great point to leave off on. And thanks, Kaleo, for joining me today in Creator Cafe. And thanks for everyone listening. And see you guys on the next episode.